Hello, Lake Highlands United Methodist Church. This is Terry King, and I'm bringing your devotion today, Thursday, October 15th. Today, we're going to tackle Ezekiel 37. And yes, I know that Ezekiel can be quite the slogfest to get through at times, but stick with it. We're into the good part. Over 60 times throughout the book of Ezekiel, God tells us, "Then they will know that I am the Lord." He was pursuing his Israelites, and he wanted them to know that he was their God. He was with them. Now, God appeared to Ezekiel in Babylon, pretty much the last place that a captive Israelite would expect to see God. But again, it proved that God was not bound by geography or nations. He ruled the earth, then just as he does now. As we move into the latter part of Ezekiel, we see the messages of hope. Reading through those first few chapters, first 32 chapters, we see that the Israelites were a very stubborn people. They were a divided nation. There was Israel and Judah. And it sounds a lot like us Americans. We're a very stubborn people, and we're a divided country right now. So as we move into 37, there are some messages of hope. Preparing us for that, back in chapter 36, yesterday, I'm going to read verses 26 and 7, because God knew for this change to last, for his people to really know him, he needed to perform some kind of dramatic, radical heart surgery. And I'm going to read about that. So in 36, 26, and 7, "I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit in you. I will remove from you your heart of stone and give you a heart of flesh. And I will put my spirit in you and move you to follow my decrees. You will be my people, and I will be your God." And in 37, we move into the Valley of Dry Bones. There are a lot of good nuggets in here that I think are encouraging and helpful for us today. The Valley of Dry Bones that vision has been a very powerful visual that has inspired many over the years, including a couple of songs, Dry Bones, and more recently, Come Alive, Dry Bones. I'm going to read just a few of the verses. So 37, 1 through 3. "The hand of the Lord was upon me, and he brought me out by the Spirit of the Lord, and set me in the middle of a valley. It was full of bones. He led me back and forth among them, and I saw a great many bones on the floor of the valley, bones that were very dry. He asked me, 'Son of man, can these bones live?' And I said, 'O sovereign Lord, only you know.'" So right here, Ezekiel acknowledges he's not going to limit the great I am by supposing he has an answer to that question. He acknowledges, "O sovereign Lord, only you know." Moving into verse 4, "Then he said to me, 'Prophesy to these bones and say to them, Dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. This is what the sovereign Lord says to these bones. I will make breath enter you, and you will come to life. I will attach tendons to you and make you flesh come upon you, and cover you with skin. I will put breath in you, and you will come to life. Then you will know that I am the Lord." Very key and important right here. Not only do we know that only God has the answer, but we're also reminded he invites Ezekiel to be a part of that answer. He invites Ezekiel to prophesy. He invites Ezekiel to engage in that answer and do his work with him, just as he invites us. The visions and prophecies of Ezekiel can be challenging at times, but it also brings us comfort in this time in the promise that God makes to his people, to Ezekiel, that he would perform that miracle, bringing his people together that had been scattered multiple places. That's something that he knew only a new creation from God could resurrect the Israelites ultimately. And that same thing is true for us today. And that resurrection is Jesus Christ. That is his message. It's in that hope in him that we are invited to engage with God in the work of sharing that message. The reassurance I get from Ezekiel, as tough as it can be at times, but especially in this chapter today, the reassurance I get there is that God is bigger than any problem. Any problem. He's bigger than COVID. He's bigger than politics. He's bigger than a divided country. He is God. The questions and the uncertainties that we have seen in 2020 are a call to step out in faith. And what I find in these words is that I need to step out acknowledging, as Ezekiel did, "O sovereign Lord, only you know," and claim the faith that that is enough, that I can trust the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. God be with you today.